diagnostics, point-of-care technologies, and chronic disease management, the UNTAD market, which is the subject heading for today's thing. Now, point-of-care testing means that the patient's diagnoses are made predominantly outside the physician's office. It could be in the ambulance, it could be in the field, it could be in the community or in the ambulance. This has been gained importance because the shift of medicine from curative medicine to predictive, personalized, and now preemptive medicine. Now, this POC testing could rely on the development of portable diagnostic techniques and monitoring devices for point of care. Now, the numerous opportunities for this point of care testing, it could be in the home, you could measure the diabetics for the sugar levels, especially in the insulin dependent diabetics. It's in the community, it could be the retail health clinics, or in the paramedic vehicle where you could, a patient coming with acute chest pain, you could do the enzymes in the ambulance itself and then upload this data to the hospital where that ambulance is supposed to go. Or in the urgent care centers, in the emergency room, for example, you could do a set of tests than in the emergency itself, than in the central laboratory, where you could gain time and triage patients better. Or in the intensive care, where you could rapidly monitor the vital parameters, for example, the blood gas analysis, etc. Now, the point of care testing at the home, predominantly, and the most widely used is the self-monitoring of blood glucose, which is very widely used. In the community pharmacy, especially in the Western countries, they have been operating diabetic screening programs where they could monitor the HbA1c levels or the urine albumin and creatinine ratios, cholesterol levels for patients at risk for cardiovascular ailments or in obese patients. In general practice, there itself in the West, they have been doing it for HbA1c, the albumin creatinine ratio, and lipid profiles. And with increasing usage of anticoagulants for patients with atrial fibrillation and DVTs, the INR is also being done at the clinic level than at the hospital level. Critical care and the emergency department, cardiac enzymes, the D-dimer for diagnosis of deep venous thrombosis and pulmonary embolism. These have been shown to have a reduced length of stay in the hospital, and so these are the numerous things which have been used in the lab for point of care testing. Most common being the hemoglobin, the pregnancy test, the beta-hydroxy strips which have been used, and the glucose, etc. Now, as comes to radiology, because I'm a radiologist, how this can be practiced and can be put to use, or which has been put to use. The lab parameter which has been used in radiology is rapid serum creatinine testing, especially in the CT scan and the MR rooms, where we need to give IV contrast. It's mandatory to have a recent serum creatinine. A percentage of patients, is at least 30 to 50% who need a contrast study do not have a creatinine. So you need a rapid point of test. And there have been devices with similar to a glucose strip where you could rapidly do it in a finger prick. And this has gained wide acceptance in, especially in off-hour settings where you want to have a serum creatinine rapidly in the CT scan or the MR. Now, the major thing which has changed the point of care in radiology is teleradiology, what the previous speaker has alluded to as the telepathology. You have a hub and a spoke model. There's a centralized reporting room in the hospital or in the office, and you have data coming from various departments. It could be a remote referring physician, it could be a remote urban clinic, it could be a remote rural center, it could be a PAC station or a radiology department from another hospital. So all converge together in a single hospital, and this data could be accessed from anywhere else through the internet, and this has really changed the way we practice radiology today. Now, there are also low-cost radiology devices which have been mounted onto ambulances. Today, you have ambulances mounted with, in addition to labs, you have X-rays which have been mounted. This has been possible because of the advent of digital radiology. You don't need to develop films like the way you were doing 10 years back with solutions and stuff. We can directly acquire a digital image, you can upload this data onto the central PAC server in the remote hospital and can be read within few minutes after a test is done. Now, this has made a lot of difference in early diagnosis of shock and hypotension, especially after trauma. You're doing more bedside ultrasounds. It is increased and improved the care on patients and also in reducing the healthcare costs. Now you've got ultrasound devices which could be plugged onto your smartphones. You've got to have an iPhone which could be plugged onto a ultrasound probe. This can be done at the periphery, and these images could be rapidly uploaded to the central server where the patient could be triaged about the seriousness of the disease, and the therapy could be planned from far. Now, this is a pocket ultrasound which has come of a few years earlier from GE. It's just the size of your palm, where this could be carried to the field. It could be done, the ultrasound could be rapidly done, and decisions could be made regarding the seriousness on the diagnosis of a particular disease. Now, handheld devices. Now, previously you all were working, the radiologists were working on workstations. Now we had handheld devices, the smartphones and the tablets. Most of them are equipped to read, and recently FDA last year has approved devices for reporting and viewing data for CTs, MRs and nuclear medicine studies. This is one such application which has been cleared by FDA last year, which could view your images instantaneously from the fax server on an iPhone or a tablet. Now, mobile CTs and MRs are difficult to operationalize, but they are being used in countries like England, where a huge van like this, the CT is mounted, it goes to the particular community or a hospital, it's get parked there, and scans are done within the ambulance or this huge van itself. Now, public-private partnerships could again help us in providing point of care to remote and underserved areas. This is one example of a collaboration between Philips and PGI Chandigarh, where there's a called Asha Jyoti, where the mammograms machine is, digital mammogram is loaded onto the machine. This goes into the community where mammograms are done there and read there, and adequate consultations and management decisions are made. Now, wireless technologies have added to the ease with which you could operate technologies and use radiology. Instead of clinicians going where data is, now data is going to where the clinician is. Now, the few disadvantages of point of care testing, sometimes it is inferior to central testing. The cost can sometimes be more than what is done in the central laboratory. The satisfaction levels could be less for the patient as well as the treating physician, and not all devices or all tests are validated universally. So in conclusion, I would say that point of care testing is the way to go. A recent review of healthcare commented that there is no shortage of innovative technology in healthcare, but what is lacking is innovation in terms of the organization and the application of technology. I would thank all of you for staying back and for giving me this opportunity. Thanks to Renu and others from India Health Summit. Thank you very much.